All right, thank you for being here. We're going to do about half an hour or less of just moving our bodies through the 12 basic postures of Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga is one of the oldest forms of yoga. And so these basic postures, they offer us a foundational toolbox for our yoga practice. So if you go online, you can find the traditional sequence through the Sivananda Yoga lineage, where they have a traditional sequence of the 12 postures. What we're doing today is a bit different. It's just kind of my own take on the 12 postures in a different order in a way that felt good to me. Usually with how I like to go is starting from standing and then kind of squatting down into kneeling, seated postures where we'll transition to laying onto our stomachs and then ending on our backs. So that's why I changed the original sequence a little bit, and you are free to change the 12 postures in a way that feels good to you. You could do this as you wake up in the morning, before you warm up for jujitsu, cooling down at night, just whenever it feels right to you. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of a foundation of some basic yoga postures and can feel good for the whole body. So we aren't going to use any props today. We're just going to kind of go without. You're welcome to use blocks or anything like that. But we're just going to start standing here. And we're just going to lift the hands up into prayer, reaching all the way up, and then just kind of diving down into a forward fold, lifting the hips high, bringing the head low towards the shins. You can grab your toes, maybe touch your knees, your shins. You could grab the back of the calves. Anything that feels good here. Just lengthening out the hamstrings, back of the legs here. Coming up, hands come up into prayer, back down to heart center. We're going to balance on our right foot as we step back into triangle pose. So it doesn't have to be too big. The back foot is going to be sideways, and this right foot is more up and down. And then from here, you can just measure where your triangle pose is going to be at. For some people, it might be up here. You might need a block, maybe work your way down the leg. And then eventually you can choose if it feels good to have your left arm up extended, or you can have it past the ear overhead, a little bit more traditional. We're trying to keep the chest rotated up towards the ceiling or sky. And then slowly making your way back up. Standing, we're going into a forward fold, diving down. Head comes closer to your shins, hips up high. And diving back up. Hands come to heart center. Putting all of our weight into the left foot. We're going to send the right foot back. Triangle pose. That back foot is sideways. This left foot is more of an up and down position. And we're going to just make our way into triangle, however that is. Again, arm overhead past the ears is a little bit more traditional. Helps remind you to turn the chest upward. And coming back to center. We're going to go towards the middle of our mat, and then just kind of getting into a squatted position. Feel free to take a moment to let the hips adjust here. And when you're ready, we're going to work on an arm balance, crow pose, so we can get our knees close to the armpits, and you're really contracting the muscles together, adducting inward towards the center of your body, so that when you rock forward on your hands, maybe you get one foot up, maybe two, trying to balance on the back of the arms towards your armpit. Can straighten the arms, It's okay if you face plant or fall, it's all right. Just be careful. Feel free to try a couple times. And it's okay if this is something we can't do right away. It's just a pose that we can improve on, make some progress each time we practice. And when you're ready, from this crow position, we're just gonna gently make our way into headstand. So you don't have to do the full thing. We can put our head down, maybe just try lifting one foot. Maybe if we lift both, it's kind of in this crow position. And if you'd like, you can extend the feet up, keeping a tight core, legs together, hips over the shoulders, and gently making your way down, back to a squatted position. Can sit down from there, dropping the hips, and we can extend the legs out. And from here, taking a deep breath in, big exhale out, just gently leaning forward, pausing, not doing the full forward fold yet, breathing in, exhale, leaning into the forward fold, bending at the hip crease. You can reach for your toes, shins, ankles, anything that feels good. Taking your time to get here with each breath. And gently, we can make our way up. And we're just gonna take this right leg. We're gonna come into half Lord of the Fishes pose. So we're bringing this right leg on top and over. Bottom leg is gonna fold in. We're gonna take our left hand, our left elbow, over this right leg. So it's bookmarking on the right knee. And then it's a spinal twist, looking over the right shoulder. If this is too much, you can just grab the knee with your arm and kind of pin it in. If you'd like a little bit deeper of a spinal twist, you can extend the arm that's bookmarked, reaching for your toes and getting a little bit deeper into the twist that way. And gently, we'll come out of the twist, back to a forward fold, letting the inhale lift you up. Exhale, folding at the hip crease, letting gravity take you down. And gently we can come up. And same thing, half Lord of the Fishes with the left leg coming on top. Right leg folds underneath. Easiest is going to be kind of pinning your left leg with your right arm. Second level would be bookmarking with the elbow, twisting over the left shoulder. And then the deepest is going to be just reaching for big toes and then getting a little bit deeper into the spinal twist that way. So whatever variation you're comfortable with, gently coming back out of it. Back to center, we're gonna send the knees back, legs back, going into this tabletop position where we're gonna rock the hips back. And then we're rocking them forward, trying to come into cobra pose. So you can take all the time you need here. I like to rock side to side and then gently make my way where my knees are lifted, dropping the hip bones down, swimming the chest through the shoulders. You can have this active version first, And then set down the knees. See if you can peel back the shoulders a little bit more for cobra. And then keeping the elbows glued in tight to the ribs, we're gonna melt the upper body down towards the ground and make our way into locust. So keeping the shoulders pinched together, active, send the hands back. You can keep the hands apart, or you can grab the hands together, interlacing the fingers, pulling your hands back towards your hips, towards your feet, lifting the chest up, grounding down the pubic bone, your hips, grounding down the thighs, gently dropping the shoulders, taking a moment to rest here. And then very similarly, we're gonna go into bow. So again, pinching the shoulders, being active, the upper body, bending the knees. Our hands can find our feet. If you can't reach your feet, you can always use a strap, or you can work on it without touching. We're gonna kick our feet towards our hands, lifting up the chest, lifting up the knees, rocking back, pressing the feet into the hands, gently coming down, setting the hands down by the chest, pressing yourself up, sending the hips back. We're gonna kick the legs around and scoot up towards your feet. Extend the legs if that feels good. And we're gonna make our way into fish pose. So dropping the elbows down, lifting the chest up. And you're trying to keep this arch in your back. So really ground down through the hips, lift up through the chest, drop the head back. And then coming back to center, we're gonna ease our spine down. And then bending the knees, we can really take our time and just coming up to a shoulder stand. So that might take a couple rocks, that's fine. And what we're trying to do is bring your elbows together to support yourself under the ribs, under your back, pressing your hands on the ribs, and then trying to keep the legs straight, your hips over your chest if possible, lifting up. And then dropping one foot down at a time, going from shoulder stand to plow. It's okay if your toes don't touch the floor. Just making sure that you're safe here, that you can still breathe. You can set your hands on the ground. Just very gently come down vertebrae by vertebrae with control. And you can take a couple moments to rock up and down here. And then we're gonna go up for one more time through the sequence. So we're coming all the way up, standing, diving down, forward fold. And we're gonna go through it a little bit quicker. So we're coming up, hands at heart center, grounding down with the right foot, left foot comes back for triangle pose. And back up to center, diving down, forward fold, diving up. Weight is in the left foot as we make our way into triangle. Right arm up, overhead, rotating the chest. And back up to center. We can step to the middle of our mats for crow pose. Getting the knees in the armpits, lifting 1 foot, 2 feet if you can, and trying to balance it out. Setting the feet down, getting into headstand just the same way. Lifting up 1 foot, 2 feet, and then balancing your way up. Coming down into a squat position. Can sit the hips down, extending the legs out. Coming into forward fold, using the breath here. Coming up, we'll get the right leg over for half lower the fishes. Every variation you can. Whatever feels comfortable. Getting that spinal twist, looking over the right shoulder. Coming back to center for a forward fold. Making your way up. Left leg on top, right leg curls in, right arm on top, twisting over the left shoulder. Undoing the spinal twist, kicking the legs to the side, making your way into tabletop, sending the hips back, getting into cobra, knees off the ground, hips come forward and down, sending the chest through, dropping the knees, squeezing the elbows to the rib cage, making your way down to the ground, squeezing the shoulder blades together for locust. You can interlace the fingers, pull them back, lifting the chest up, lifting the feet up, and taking a breath here. Coming down, taking a breath. And when you're ready, coming up for bow pose, kicking the feet into the hands, pinching the shoulder blades together, lifting the heart up, lifting the knees up. And gently coming down, rocking back, kicking the legs to the side, scooting to the middle of your mat, extending the legs. Hands come behind your seat. Can drop down to the forearms, lifting up the chest, puffing up as much as you can to get an arch in the back, leaning your head back all the way, pressing into the forearms, lifting up at the heart, and gently coming down onto the back, bending the knees, taking a couple rocks to get into shoulder stand, getting the elbows together, lifting the feet up, pulling yourself up, hips above your chest, above your shoulders if you can. Dropping 1 foot, the other towards the ground for plough pose. You can extend the hands down towards the floor, away from your ribs. Taking a breath here. Can let go of the hands. Gently with control, coming down vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way down to Shavasana, corpse pose, where we can come back to the breath. Let gravity relax us down towards the ground, or we can decompress for however long. You're welcome to pause the video if you'd like to take a long Shavasana. Otherwise, we can just gently bend the knees, rock back up to seated. And we can close out with 3 deep breaths, breathing in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth audibly. Again, deep inhale. Exhale, pouring out. Last one, filling up. Pouring out. Thank you guys so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed that your body feels good. You can come back to this anytime, and you can switch it up, the 12 postures anyway, or you can try the traditional practice. You can message me and I can link you to any information you need for that. Thank you. Hope you guys take care and have a great day. Bye.